Hello and welcome back. Today's video is going to be an update for my Using My Eyeshadow Palettes project pan. This is a rotating style project. I no longer do pan that palette or try to hit pan on eyeshadows, so I'm just focused on rotating through my palettes. What I do is I pick 4 palettes at a time, use each palette 20 times, and then roll in some new palettes. It is a whole lot of fun and it's a great way for me to rotate through my collection. This video is going to be a little bit different because instead of picking out 4 new palettes myself, I thought I would let my dog pick some palettes for me. I thought this would be a lot of fun. I just kind of wanted to change things up. And I remember a few years ago, the whole dog picks my makeup video was really popular. I never did that then, but I thought, hey, let's let my dog pick some palettes because I was looking through my collection and I really did not know what to pick for this next round. I did use all 4 palettes from the last round 20 times, so I'll give you an update on those and then I'll show you the clip that I filmed of my dog picking out the palettes. He was pretty confused, not gonna lie, but he ended up doing a very good job. So I thought this would just be fun to do. I do project pans though, where I do try to hit pan and complete items up. So you can check out my project pan playlist for more on that, and let's get started. First, I'll recap the palettes from the last round. Like I said, I used all of these 20 times. The first one I had is the Smashbox Ablaze palette. A lot of warm neutrals, very simple colors. Let me just say though, so for most of March and April, I wore very minimal, simple makeup, including simple eyeshadow looks. Today's makeup is really dramatic, and honestly, I missed doing dramatic makeup. But for most of the last month, what I would do is I just would open all 4 of these palettes. I would take one of the cream shades to set my eyeshadow primer with, which is something I do every day. And pretty much all of these palettes have a cream shade. And then I would just take a combination of 2 to 3 neutral shades. Pretty much all of these palettes were really neutral. Mix them together and put it all over the lid and all over the crease. And then I'd pick one of the other palettes and choose one of the dark browns and put that on the lower lash line. So that was pretty much my everyday look for the last month. As you will see, these palettes were all very neutral. They're all very good, but I've missed the more dramatic makeup, so I'm actually pretty excited to try some brighter looks again. Today's look is like really out there and I haven't done a blue eyeshadow look in a long time, but I've missed it. So the Ablaze palette, back to this, it's great. The shimmers are really beautiful. A couple of times I actually did all shimmer looks using these and a combination of some of the shimmers in the other palettes that I had. I used this dark brown on the lower lash line quite a bit. I used this color to set my eye primer. It's a good little palette, actually. Very simplistic, and I think most of us have these colors in a lot of different palettes, but I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. And then the next one, I also really enjoyed, the Zoeva Cocoa Blend. This also kind of similar. I mean, this has a few more different colors, but warm tones, very neutral. This metallic is beautiful. I did a one eyeshadow look with this one a couple of times, and then a couple of the shimmers from the Smashbox palette. I used this one to set my lid. I did use this one in a look, and I used this one in a look. Very neutral. I used this on the lower lash line. It's actually a really good palette. I like this one. The shimmers in these palettes are shimmers. They're not really foiled or metallic, which was perfect for the type of look that I was going for in the last month, so it worked out quite well. The next palette is probably my favorite out of the 4 that I had in this round, and that is the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. I really love this palette, and honestly, I kind of wish that I had done a more dramatic makeup look with this palette, but I didn't really. I used it in very simple and easy ways. I did one eyeshadow looks with these colors and this one, mix them with the shimmers from the Smashbox and the Zoeva palettes. I also did one eyeshadow looks with the matte browns as well. I used this on the lower lash line. I used this one to set my eye primer. I didn't really do anything exciting. Honestly, you can get some pretty dramatic looks out of this. I mean, warm, neutral, dramatic looks, but I have done dramatic looks with this palette in the past, but this time I did not. And the last palette for this round was the Juvia's Place, the Warrior 2. And previously I have said this was my least favorite by Juvia's Place. However, since I've been doing these simple eye looks, this was perfect. Again, I would combine it with the mattes from some of the other palettes and do an all matte, like one color look. Sometimes I use the shimmers from the other palettes and then put like these peachy shades in the crease. I did do a cool toned look, I think once using this color. I used this one to set my eyeshadow primer quite a bit. So yeah. And by the way, I have said this in other updates, but if I just take one palette and use one eyeshadow, that counts as one use. If I, let's say, used 5 of these eyeshadows to create an entire look, that would still be just one use. So yeah, but most of the time I just combined these palettes together for very easy and simple eye looks. Alrighty, that was it for those palettes. I enjoyed them all. They were all very neutral, very simplistic, which is kind of why I picked them, because I don't know, I just wasn't in the mood for the more intense eye looks. But honestly, now I am, so I'm really excited to get back into more fun makeup. So I'll show you the clip where my dog picked out the eyeshadow palettes. Again, he was very, very confused. By the way, his name is Basil. He is 2.5 years old. He's a terrier mix. We got him at the Humane Society when he was 4 months old. He's an amazing dog. So yeah, he was really, really confused and he had no idea why I was making him do this, but it ended up working out. He picked some really, really good palettes. I'm very excited. I laid 10 palettes out in front of him and whichever ones he directly sniffed, I ended up going with those. So yeah, warning, I do use my dog voice in this video. I realized it sounded really, really weird when I was editing the footage. If you have a pet, maybe you do this too. You talk to them in like a weird voice. Anyway, you've been warned, but yeah, let's get into picking the palette. Let's see what he does. Go pick the palettes. You want a treat? Good boy. I think he's confused. Go on, go pick the palettes. Go pick an eyeshadow palette. Other way, go over there. Good boy. Okay, well, you've walked over the BH. Maybe that counts. Okay, let's see. Come on, Bazzy, pick a palette. Oh. The problem is I'm holding the dog treats, so, you know, I think if I had put a dog treat on every palette, then maybe, you know, that would have worked. Go on, come on, pick a palette. Good boy. Okay, Urban Decay for the win. For sure, Urban Decay. Good boy. Go pick another one. Go pick a palette. Okay, ColourPop for sure. Urban Decay and ColourPop. Good job. Go get another one. Go. Okay, you like Urban Decay a lot, guys. He likes the Naked Reloaded palette. Good boy. Go pick a palette. Go. Okay, he went for the color, the single shadows. And maybe the other one, okay. We'll say one more. Okay, go on, pick a palette, go, go, go. Okay, go pick a palette. All right, Venice Fling. All right, he did it, guys. So he picked Naked Reloaded, Venice Fling, the single shadows, and the So Jaded palette. Good job. Can you sit? Good boy. Can you shake? Shake. Good boy. All right, guys. I think he did pretty well, right, Bazzy? Yes, good job. Alrighty, well, I hope that was entertaining. I feel like the Baz did a really, really good job. And let me show you the 4 palettes up close. He apparently really likes the Naked Reloaded palette because he went to sniff this one multiple times. Maybe it just like smells weird or something. I don't think so though, but I'm actually very excited to use this because this is a palette I used a lot last year, earlier in the year, and then I kind of stopped using it. So it's been quite a while. A lot of, you know, neutral shades, but I think this one's really good. I have hit pan on this one. This was in some project pans last year where I did hit pan on this, and also this was in my project 100 uses, and I have used this palette well over 100 times. I have noticed what happens with me and the project 100 uses. Once I get to 100 on a palette, I'll get a little bit sick of it and then I won't use it for a very long time. So another one of the palettes that he chose, same thing happened, so I was pretty excited about that. I'm actually very excited to use this palette again. It's beautiful. I know this is one a lot of people didn't really like, but personally, I really enjoy it. The next palette I'm actually excited he chose as well, because I've been trying to get more use out of my single shadows this year. Honestly, I have not done that good of a job at that, but I'm glad he chose this palette full of singles. This, let me just make a little side comment. This magnetic palette I bought from ColourPop about 2 years ago. It is such poor quality. I mean, this part is already breaking, and I don't even use this that much to be opening and closing it. And then look how the top is curved. It doesn't shut all the way. I know it's not that big of a deal, but my favorite magnetic palettes are from the Shop Miss A website. They're only $5 or $6. I can't remember how much I paid for this palette. I want to say it was like $10, and it's just really bad quality. So anyway, side note, FYI, I would recommend the magnetic palettes from Shop Miss A. But the eyeshadows themselves are really, really good in this palette. It is mostly ColourPop single eyeshadows, a few Coastal Scents. I know that one for sure is Coastal Scents. This one is Divina. This one is M Cosmetics. This one is Divina as well. I have separate videos, by the way, talking about all my favorite single eyeshadows, and I've swatched all my Coastal Scents ones and Divina and also M Cosmetics. You can search for those on my channel. They're older videos, but I've done videos talking about most of my singles. This combination, I really love this arrangement, and I haven't used this very much. So again, I'm very excited. All right, he also chose the Venice Fling palette. This is the Bailey Sarian collab with Estate Cosmetics, and I'm so excited that he picked this one because I have not used this palette in a while, and I really do like it. I got it sometime last year, and I think I've only used this palette maybe 5 or 6 times ever, but I really like this formula. The shimmers in here are beautiful. I love this whole sunset theme. The colors are beautiful. These metallics are amazing, and the mattes blend really, really well. The only color I don't love is this shimmer here because, I don't know, I feel like the shimmers don't really show up all that great, but the rest of the palette is fantastic. All right, and the last palette I'm probably the most excited about, and that is the ColourPop So Jaded. I talked about this palette in a video earlier this week where I talked about eyeshadow palettes that I hate that I love. This is definitely in that category, but for the most part, I really do love this palette. For a long time, it was my #1 palette in my collection. I don't know that it is anymore, but I love the colors in here. And I love the quality of this palette. I think this is the #1 best product ColourPop has ever released. I really, really love this. I took out the glitters because I really hated those, but I'm excited to do some colorful looks because I actually really want to do a look with the 2 greens, and then also I really want to do a look with this red. I've done a look with this red before, and I actually filmed that as a get ready with me when I first bought this palette. But yeah, this is a good one and I'm excited about it. Alrighty, that is it for this video. I know this was really, really random, but I just could not decide on palettes. I thought I would do something a little bit different. I think my dog enjoyed the process. He has good taste in eyeshadow, so I have to give him credit for that. I'm excited that I'm rotating through my palettes, getting good use out of my collection, and I'm really, really looking forward to doing some more bright and colorful looks. I've got a lot of options in these palettes, but there's plenty of neutrals as well to wear more on an everyday basis. But yeah, I'm excited to start doing some colorful looks again. If you want to see my other project pans, check out my project pan playlist. That is it. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.